Today's product review is on Ronin trucks and why you may want to potentially choose them over trucks like Smokies or Rogues or P2s or really any other precision truck that's out there. And guys, I think this is the last review I'm ever going to do, so let's end it with a bang, do a truck that a lot of people definitely want to get and that I've fallen in love with. The reason you may want something like the Ronins over something like Smokies or Rogues or even Rojas trucks is because of your riding style or the type of riding style you want to do and your goals as a skater. And I think that can be highlighted by telling you guys how these have served the riding style that I'm most interested in these days. Man, this makes my forehead look massive, man. These days, I just kind of want to have fun with my skating, you know.
I'm a recently single girl, I just got out of a long-term relationship and I'm just looking to have a little bit of fun in my life.
I'm not really trying to take the fastest lines around corners or do the most accurate slides. I just want trucks that are stable and are going to support the riding styles I want to do, which is hands down with a little bit of stand-up riding. However, when I do want to take some really quick laps, I don't want my trucks to hold me back at all. And the Ronins, with how I've set them up, have been allowing me to do that really, really well. I can say I'm pretty happy and satisfied. But with these trucks, it kind of feels like race mode is always on. I'm always skating aggressively and it's really hard to switch that off and have a more chill time skating, if that makes sense. Also, with how they're set up, you get all the turning from the front, so freeriding these for me wasn't really as comfortable. Also because of the width you have, these are pretty narrow, right? So putting freeride wheels on these is also a little bit more difficult and then getting decent rail matching. And it's funny, a few years ago, if you said that Ronins were some of the most chill race trucks around, people would laugh at you, and maybe people still will laugh at me. But compared to these other ones, man, these bad boys, they're more forgiving, I think. But that's not to say that they can't perform. If you wanted to skate them super aggressively, if you wanted to race with them, you absolutely can. In fact, some of the most successful racers of the past few years have been on Ronins. But the really cool thing, and also really frustrating and fist-clenching thing about them, is that they're actually really versatile to set up. And you can actually get a lot of different performance characteristics from them. And surprisingly, this is something a lot of people don't talk about. But before I do tell you about how frustrating these are to set up, and the things I had to do and what works best for them in my opinion, let's talk about how they perform. Firing things off really quickly, when you approach the limit on these trucks, they don't feel as aggressive as the slalom downhill trucks. They don't want to slide out as easily. However, when you're in the slide, they don't want to slide as directionally and don't hook up as aggressively as those slalom downhill trucks do. I feel those slalom downhill trucks have more steer and can direct you into a corner a little bit better than these. Also, they don't actually turn all that much. At 45-25 or 45-20, you don't get as much turning as you do from the 50-20 slalom downhill trucks. I found myself scrubbing out on corners. I could easily grip on those slalom downhill trucks. However, you can't set them up to avoid this completely. And when compared to slalom downhill trucks, these don't have as much bump steer. Bump steer is when you're riding over a rough road and you can really feel the road beneath. You get a lot of feedback from your trucks. These don't give you as much feedback at all. And the stability feels a little bit different as well. On slalom downhill trucks, your trucks are really locked in and want to go in a straight line, and you don't really get much you're going to get wobbles or anything like that. But these are as solid as a rock, but they don't give you that rock solid feeling. I like that. They're stable, but they don't feel stable in the same way those other trucks feel. It's really weird, but they're rock solid. Okay, but finally, let's talk a little bit about setup. as I had said, these trucks are really versatile. There are a lot of different ways you can set them up that are going to suit different riding styles. For example, if you wanted the slalom downhill style of doing things with a really hard rear truck and a soft front truck, you can do that. You can put a pink and a 95A. But what's going to be different is the bushing you use in the front. These don't need a super soft bushing in order for you to get turning and leverage out of your trucks. You may find you end up using like an 81A bushing or even a bushing as hard as 85A. So yeah, they're surprisingly stiff. The other thing, the people who want that slalom downhill style of skating with a really turny front is they bump up this 45-degree angle to either 50 or even 47 degrees. I didn't want to do that because number one, apparently the quin pin, which is how these trucks limit slope and side-to-side movement, apparently doesn't work as well when it goes over 45 degrees, and I didn't want to put that stress on my trucks because I'm pretty broke and I can't afford to buy another set, and also they're in short supply. But yeah, people do that. In fact, Adam Westfall has a really kick-ass Ronin setup. You should go bother him about details about it when you get a chance. However, unlike slalom downhill trucks where you can run flat washers both side, with these I've found that you have to use cupped washers both side sometimes, or depending on the feel that you want. So these trucks, like the tall bushings of old, I feel need that both side cupped washer in order to feel as good. Ronin sells these really thin ones that work well in the trucks and don't raise the height of the both side bushing all that much. Without the both side washer, I felt like I didn't have as much center, and I felt when the truck articulated, it got away from the center too quickly and I wasn't able to get a consistent lean. Like, I really didn't like how it felt, and the both side washer gave me a more consistent lean, allowing me to confidently skate the truck, and I could skate it really aggressively and I was happier with the feel. But if you don't want the slalom downhill style where the front truck does all the turning and want a bit more turn out of your rear truck, you can set them up to do that super well. For example, I have a 95A and 92A Ronin bushing in my rear truck, which is at 20 degrees, and 85A mango bushings from Ronin in my front truck. This allows my rear truck to turn a lot more. In fact, it's so weird, it turns a lot. Like when I ride fresh wheels, sometimes my rear wheels like lose the skin before the front wheels do. Like I get a lot of turning from my rear truck. And it's really surprising. There's no lack of stability. Like, I have a really solid feeling truck. I've taken it up to like 80-85 kilometers per hour and it feels solid. In fact, sometimes I'm like in mid corner on some really tight corners, I feel like the back truck being a little bit more turny and a bit more loose allows me to take the corner a little bit better than I would another truck. So it's really interesting. And because I'm able to get the back truck to turn a little bit more, when it comes to free riding, I'm able to free ride a little bit more easier. This setup is really forgiving, and it's so dope, I'm not gonna lie. And there are a lot of riders that do the same thing. Some people run a slightly softer back with the front, like for example 93A, 90A in the back, and in the front 85A bushings. And to me, when I heard that, it just blew my mind. I was like, dude, what are you doing? And I thought they were crazy. But I went out and I tried it myself and it worked super well, man. Like, it's actually insane to me. And if you have some Ronins, do try it for a couple sessions. Like, it's mind-blowing. And that's just not it. I think there are a lot of different ways you can really set your bushings up to get a specific feel from your truck. So when I said they were versatile, they are genuinely really versatile, and I don't think I've truly explored what I can do with these set of trucks in terms of setups. And whilst we're on the topic of setup, let's talk about what bushings work best in these trucks. And guys, I've tried everything, man. I've tried HPF, I've tried the Ronin bushings, I've tried SHRs. Like, I've been through it, man. I've been through it. And these trucks are very similar to Valkyries. They work your bushings really hard, and I found that in order to get like a consistent lean and support and feedback through the lean, you need higher rebound bushings. And what I found works best is either the SHR bushings from Venom or the Ronin bushings. I did try the HPF, but the truck would articulate too quickly and I never got a smooth supported lean. They did work, but they didn't work as well as I hoped they would. And for a while, I ran a mixture of SHR and HPF bushings. I had a 97A HPF and a 94A SHR in the back, and in the front, I had these olive greens and I think something else, but I really enjoyed that setup. But But these Ronin bushings just took it to the next level. And there's a couple things that make these Ronin bushings a bit more special than the average HPF bushing. They're actually oversized, so when you compare the height of a brand new Ronin bushing to a Venom bushing, the Ronin bushing is a little bit taller. So when you do put these in your truck, you actually have to tighten down the kingpin quite a bit in order to get it flush, and this gives you really nice center and gives you a slightly better return to center as well, which is really cool. But there is some problem with that, you know, in that over compressed state, this bushing goes from being oversized to in time looking about the same size as the Venom bushing. So it does lose that height and you do lose some of that nice feel, but they still perform pretty decently. And I don't know what other magic is in there, but the Ronin bushings just feel so good in these trucks. If you have a pair of Ronins, try to get your hands on some of these bushings. Also, Ronin sells an 85A mango bushing. They have 85, 88A, 92, 95A. You're gonna have to write in the description that you want the 85A, but it's worth getting your hands on and messing with, man. Like, if you have Ronin trucks, you have to try them at least once. Like, it's so good. That's pretty much it. The other thing you need to watch out with these trucks is they actually run super low, so it's quite easy to get wheel bites, so make sure you run them on a board that has really good clearance. However, that's it. I know I perhaps didn't talk about performance and feel as much as some people would like, or even as much as I like, but the truth is these trucks, weird feeling. Like Rogues, Smokies, like they have a really direct, quick turning feel. These feel different, and it's hard to put and articulate that into words. But yeah, if you've skated these trucks, do let me know your comments in the comments and I will catch you guys in the next video. Hope this was enjoyable and talk to you all soon.